With me in the studio here is no other person than Matthew Okugbe in the studio. Good to have you in the studio, Matthew Okugbe.
Francisca, thanks for having me. Feels great to be here.
What's the problem? Cheer up, my guy. Cheer up. Cheer up. Yes. Nigeria is Nigeria in you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cheer up, my brother.
Firstly, I would like to say Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
Though belated,
Thank you.
Belated.
Yeah.
I hope we'll come to that later because the women are celebrated more times in the calendar here than the men. I think that's exactly what we should discuss that. If you discuss that. They started this February, they've done one. In March, this March, they've done one. In April, they'll do another one. In May, they'll do another one. You understand? Well, by the way, the women are perfect people, are exceptional people. Without them, there will be no procreation.
That was what I was going to say.
Absolutely.
You can imagine the world
without women. Without women. So
would you cope?
No, it will be difficult. It will be difficult, but it feels great to be here.
Yeah.
Feels good to be here. We're back once again with plenty stories making the rounds.
Absolutely.
And I think we should start from somewhere in Cameroon.
Okay,
Akoyela Derrick, a 39-year-old teacher who was rejected multiple times by women on the basis of his height, finally found love. And he found love with a woman who happens to be a little bit younger than him, and they've been very, very happy, and also they're planning their wedding. He spoke about, on his social media page, he spoke about his love story, how they met, and this idea of, okay, he's a short man, he's not my type, and other stuff. He's talked about how he was looked down upon, how several women turned down his advances, Francisca.
Well, for me, I really do. This is really funny, if you ask me.
Is it too short? Based on what you're looking at, is it too short? Like, you could see the difference between the height of the woman and his own height, like what you're looking at now, Francisca. Is it too short to... Because I don't feel this discrimination or segregation should come in. So women should love this man. You should love this man. Is
he a do or die affair?
He's a nice man.
But the good thing is
and a teacher for that matter.
The good thing is that eventually he has found love. Yes. That's the good thing for this 39-year-old Cameroonian who is also a teacher. But then again, they say what is good for the geese is also good for the gander. Oh, sorry, different strokes for different folks. If me, I don't like you as a person because of your...
certain reason.
You know, certain reason, or because of your height and everything, that doesn't mean another person would not like you. We've seen so many cases, even here in Nigeria. They have their own people, their own spec. I feel every man has his own spec. Likewise, women. So women too have their own spec as well. So for me, I don't think this is a big deal, if you ask me. All right, moving on to the next story on what's trending is where the Spanish court has ordered a man to pay $213,800 $213,800 to his ex-wife. That money is too much.
He said
that money is too much.
No, precisely to the ex-wife for the domestic chores she did at home. All through the marriage, she was practically the one washing the plate, taking care of the kids, and doing all the house chores, ensure the clothes are washed, take care of the gardens, sweep the house, tidy the rooms, and all that stuff. So the woman was the one practically doing all these things, and she was taking notes and keeping records. Wow. She even did videos, and she presented all this in court after the divorce. It's like the woman saw it coming. That at the point in my life, I might be needing some of this evidence, and she presented that before the court that no, I was seriously enslaved by this man. If I had been more like an outstep to him, I would have earned XYZ amount. So definitely, and the judge in his benevolence felt that no, this woman deserves to be compensated, and the man was fined that whopping figure. So I think
this is still huge. 213.
You know, I don't think it's huge per se. Based on the sacrifices women put into taking care of their homes. You understand? So the contribution of a woman in every successful home cannot be overemphasized.
Yeah, I agree.
They multitask a lot. They want to do this, take care of the child, ensure there is food, and you just see a man in the living room watching TV or doing or pressing phones
Matthew,
or doing stuff like that.
I also want to ask, how with this man, does this man has the amount of money, or is he going to pay it by installments?
It should.
That's another question.
Definitely, it should be installments. It should be instrumental. Yes. And you could also note that for the court to have passed such judgment, they would have been able to do their findings to realize that
this man
the man has the money. And maybe the man is also leaving her for another woman. That might also come into context. So if you are doing that, ensure that she's settled, and that money should be able to do a lot and a lot for her. And we're moving up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's tell you that Gerard Piqué is finally moving on after the divorce from Shakira. He is planning to tie the knot with his girlfriend, Chia Clara, and there are reports that they might be getting married anytime soon. So, Francisca, if you were believing that Gerard Piqué reconciliation with Ciara at some point, and now he's getting married to someone else.
Well, I didn't know. I never knew that this was going to get to an extent. But I feel this is what is going to make Gerard Piqué happy. And Shakira, too, she has come out to say that she's no longer interested in the marriage and everything. And both of them, they've agreed. You understand? So Gerard Piqué feel, you know, I cannot be alone. I need to have someone by my side. So I wish him all the very best. Also wishing Shakira as well all the very best as well. And Matthew.
Yes, and we're moving on.
Yes, talking about moving on, let's tell you this time around that popularly known Nigerian actor in the Yoruba movie, the person of Arowo Shafe, who we also call Fadeyi Oloro, passed on. This is very sad story at the age of 65 years.
Absolutely, Francisca. Remember, we broke the news a couple of weeks back on this platform that he was bedridden and was asking for support and for asking for help. And also the daughter did an Instagram live with popular OAP Daddy Freeze, where he talked about the state of the dad, an undisclosed illness that has to do with his leg, and he was bedridden for a long time.
Finally, it was a kidney prop failure.
Not really. For me, I think it's very difficult to begin to put names to what he suffered from, because it is not really out there. But what we knew was that he was bedridden for a long time, and if you support here and there from the Nollywood industry, but finally he passed on. I remember early days in the that was in the late 80s, growing up in Ibadan in the late 80s, no, basically more of the late 80s and the early 90s. I remember that movie, you understand, on these several amazing platforms like our own BCOS, I was
NTA, Channel 7,
and a couple of stations were showing it there. People naturally will run home by 7:30 to ensure that they don't miss it on maybe on a Tuesday, Wednesday, stuff like that. Man, we say may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace, and may the family have the fortitude to bear the loss. It's a painful one if you ask me.
It is at age 65.